welcome back. Today I'm going to be tackling a slightly more tricky question that I've been asked a couple of times this week. So the question was, when we have onboarding tickets coming in, we assign multiple tasks to that ticket automatically. And what we'd like to do is close the ticket and resolve it automatically when all those tasks are complete. Now that's not something that's totally straightforward in Fresh, because running through arrays and queries and checking things multiple times isn't something that it does particularly well. But I have got a little bit of a workaround for you to show you today about how I would do that without using a stateless application. So let's go on with it. So we're going to start our workflow off by just triggering our onboarding process. So I'm just going to send an email to my Freshservice instance that's going to mimic how I have onboarding tickets set up. Okay, so my ticket's arrived. It's my onboarding for John McClane. And you can see Fresh has automatically added 4 tasks to that ticket because I have it set up to do that. Now, the magic occurs when I want to say, well, these onboarding tasks are done. So as I go through and complete them, you'll see nothing's happening. I can move that one to in progress. I can move that one to complete. I can move that one to blocked. Nothing's happening. Now, if I move the last 2 to complete, and then the final one's complete, when the final one's complete, then our workflow has run. So this is just my debugging to show you how this is working. Obviously, you'd make this a lot more tidy when you're doing it. The ticket's moved to resolved, and we can see here the output of my arrays that I was checking in the background. And that's how I would do it. So let me take you through the workflows in the back end. To do this, we've had 2 workflows. Need to go to IT, not global in this instance. Obviously, if you're onboarding flow and you're not using onboarding and that is running across multiple teams in multiple workspaces, you need to do this in global. So, but for now, I've done it in IT in my instance. So my first process was ticket raised. So when a ticket is raised, and I've just done a really simple condition with this one, just as an example to say, and the subject starts with onboarding ticket, which is what you saw, onboarding ticket for John McClane. Then we add tasks 1 through 4. Really simple. So that was the first workflow that ran. The second workflow that then is running is under tasks rather than tickets. It's important. And here we've got onboarding, close ticket when task is complete. So what we're doing is we're saying anytime the status of a task is moved from any to completed, we're going to run this workflow. And the first thing we do is go and get the tasks from that ticket. So what that's going to give us back is an array of all the information about the task associated with that ticket. And that then gives us something that looks roughly like this. Let me just put this in edit mode and then I can show you better. There we go. So that's the output from our web request that then spits that into our output JSON. Now, the challenge is that depending on how many tasks we've got, there's obviously multiple rows in our array, and Fresh then spits it out looking something like this between the square brackets. So what we're concerned about with, in this particular case, is saying when the status is complete of all of those things, then we want to close the ticket. So rather than cycling through each one and saying, hey, is this one done? Is that one done? Because Fresh isn't very good at that, and we can't loop, and we could have a varying number of requests. So in the example that I was asked for, we might have 7 or 8 tasks. So what I've built here is a method that doesn't really care how many tasks there are. It just says, are they all complete? So this array is actually saying to me, task number 1 in the array has a status of 1, task number 2 has a status of 1, task number 3 has a status of 3, and task number 4 has a status of 1. So these are corresponding with effectively the primary keys of those labels underneath. And this is a default Freshservice. I haven't done a whole lot with it other than making videos and explaining stuff. So actually 1 is open, 3 is complete, 2 is in progress, and 4 is blocked if you wanted to go and have a look. If you want to go look in your own instance, what you'll need to do is effectively run that webhook just in your browser, and then that will print it out for you nice and neat. And you can see here status of 2, status of 4, status of 3, and you can work out in your instance what is your desired status. It's probably 3 unless you've changed it. So we've now got an array that says, okay, these are the statuses of all the tasks on my ticket. Great, but that doesn't tell me if they're all done. So what we've done is we've done a really quick expression to just convert that JSON array into a string. So what this is going to do is going to take that value of status that we saw between the square brackets, just downcase, it's not going to make any difference, and it's going to print it out then in as a string. And what you can see in my debugging, back to it. You can see in my debugging, that is what I'm getting printed out. Now, we don't use this directly from the object because Fresh won't let us. It has to be a string, so we just use that downcase liquid filter to convert the array into a string. So then we can just see what are the numbers on there. Then what we're doing is a simple condition that just says this should not contain the following numbers. So in our case, 1 is open, 2 is in progress, 4 is blocked. So what I want to say is, effectively, only if that string is entirely made up of number 3s do I want this workflow to actually action something at the end, which is what you're seeing there. In the interim, it's not running because this will be 1, this will be 4, this will be whatever. And then once they're all 3, because they don't contain any of these other numbers, and obviously if you've got lots more statuses, you'd need to add all the numbers in there of all the, effectively all the statuses you don't care about. And then if we meet that condition, which we've done because we're all 3s, then we say set the ticket to resolved, add a note, all tasks complete, and then there's my output from my debugging. But obviously when you're doing this for real, you would make it much prettier, and obviously we've done that on parent ticket, so we've changed that from task to parent ticket because we are in task automator here. And that should work regardless of however many tasks there are, how they get added, and indeed in this particular case it's not just limited to the onboarding workflow because I haven't set it out. If you wanted to limit it to just onboarding, you just add a condition there of saying something like, you know, ticket contains onboarding or sources onboarding or whatever it is in your instance. But that's probably the simplest answer I can come up to that particular question of how do I resolve a ticket when all the tasks are complete automatically. And hopefully that solves the problem and was really helpful. So cheers for that today, and I'll be back again soon. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to stay up to date with the latest features and tutorials. If you or your organization need help with Freshservice, check out our consulting, implementation, training and support services at our website. zestco.uk. Zest, a fresh perspective.